Hello friends, how are you all? Welcome to the today's session where we can learn about the general characteristics of the phylum Ascomycota. These Ascomycota are generally called as sac fungi as they are forming the sac-like structures. Coming to the introduction part, Ascomycota are the fungi possess an ascus that containing ascospores. These ascospores are the haploid sexual spores formed after karyogamy and meiosis. That means initially plasmogamy will take place followed by karyogamy and meiosis. And these Ascomycota are large, forming the large conspicuous fruit bodies that known as ascoma. Except in yeast, means yeast they do not form these fruiting bodies and yeast related fungi like Saccharomyces. Otherwise, in almost all genera, they form the fruit bodies known as ascoma. And other characters which are not specifically restricted to these ascomycetes but are common to other fungi like higher fungi like Basidiomycetes or septate somatic mycelium, that is mycelium is a septate and with two layered cell wall, absence of flagellated structures like zoospores who are having flagella, those structures are absent, and formation of conidia as the main asexual spores and presence of dikaryophase in the life cycle. Dikaryophase as the name itself indicating the cell containing the two nuclei, and that stage will exist for some time period before the karyogamy and meiosis takes place. It means the dikaryophase will occur in the Ascomycetes fungi. And this is the largest phylum of fungi, having almost 45% of the described species under fungi are placed under the Ascomycetes. And recently, this dissolution of these Deuteromycetes fungi, that is fungi imperfecti, as it was recognized as most of these Deuteromycetes fungi are the asexual forms of the fungi placed in Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Hence, these Deuteromycetes fungi also included in Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. So, from that inclusion, 20% of these Deuteromycetes are also included in the Ascomycota. This inclusion is mainly based on comparison of 18S ribosomal DNA sequence and cell wall structure. So based on these two comparisons, they included 20% of these Deuteromycetes fungi in the Ascomycota. So Ascomycota is the largest phylum. Total it is having 45 plus 20, that is 65% of the described species of fungi. Coming to the somatic structure, that is mycelium. And Ascomycetes fungi possess well developed septate and profusely branched mycelium. Here we can see in this picture, this is mycelium which is septate, that is having the cross walls, except yeast, because yeast is possessing only unicellular somatic cells. And cell wall is two layered, as we know it is a general characteristics of the normal fungi and made up of chitin, and this cell wall is made up of the structure known as chitin, that is the compound, except in yeast, as yeast is having unicellular somatic cells and that cells are made up of mannans and beta-1,3 glucans. They are the major cell wall polysaccharides in case of yeast, and chitin is also present but that is in very small amount, that is very negligible amount of chitin is present, that too in the bud scars. When budding takes place in the yeast, that budding scars, there some amount of chitin we can observe. And these cells of hyphae, that is the single cell, if you take this single cell, they may be containing one nuclei or several nuclei, that is uninucleate or multinucleate. And the septa, that is mycelium is separated or compartmentalized with the septa. This septa it is having a central pore through which all the cell organelles from one cell to another cell they will move. Here I clearly showed the picture. If we will take, this is one cell, this is another cell, and this is the septum which is having the central pore through which all the food materials they will move from the one cell to another cell in this through the septal pore. This is the somatic, in general, somatic structure of this Ascomycetes fungi. And sometimes these septal pores are blocked to make a special function, like if some hyphae are dead, so that dead hyphae has to remove from the normal mycelium. So it has to plug the pore to prevent the entry of food material or this cell organelles from one cell to the dead cell. So what will happen? This fungi produce special structures like oronin bodies and septal pore organelles. Here in the examination point of view, like competitive exams, so we have to remember the these both voronin bodies and septal pore organelles. What are voronin bodies? Voronin bodies, maybe they are spherical or rectangular proteinaceous structures which plug the pore to ward off dead or aging hyphae. That means here we can see in the picture, to stop the movement of organelles from live cell to the dead cell, these voronin bodies, they will plug these septal pores so that material will not move from one cell to another cell. This is a very important point. We have to remember that voronin bodies, especially, they will plug the pore to ward off dead or aging hyphae. Then coming to the septal pore organelles. Septal pore organelles are pulley wheel-like in shape, and these are used to shut off sexually reproducing hyphae from somatic hyphae. Here septal pore organelles, they will differentiate the sexually reproducing hyphae. That means they will separate the sexually reproducing hyphae from the somatic hyphae. Here we have to remember these two things, that is voronin bodies, they plug the pore, septal pore, to ward off dead or aging hyphae, and septal pore organelles, these are pulley wheel like structures which used to shut off sexually reproducing hyphae from somatic hyphae. These are the two structures which can block the pore, septal pore. Is sclerotia, that is here we can see sclerotia, and second stomata, and third mycelial strands. So three somatic modifications observed in Ascomycetes, that is sclerotia, stomata and mycelial strands. And coming to the reproduction, now the somatic structure is over. Now coming to the reproduction part. Generally we know that reproduction takes place in two ways, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So now we have to see what are the means of performing this asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. And here in Ascomycetes we can see extreme behavior. In few fungi, both asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction takes place. In a few fungi, exclusively they reproduce with the sexual means, that is ascospores. And plasmogamy takes place through gametangial contact. So here no spermatization and somatogamy. This spermatization and somatogamy will occur in the lower fungi. So here gametangial contact overtook this spermatization and somatogamy. Coming to the first, we will see asexual reproduction. What are the different ways of asexual reproduction and how it takes place in the Ascomycetes? Asexual reproduction mainly through budding, fission, fragmentation and chlamydospores and conidia. This budding and fission, as the name itself indicating that this takes place only in the yeast fungi. So yeast fungi, yeast are present in both Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes fungi. So how to differentiate the Ascomycetes yeast from the Basidiomycetes yeast? Because budding is hologenous in case of Ascomycetes. In an examination point of view, we have to remember this hologenous and enterogenous. What is hologenous? Hologenous yeast means where new wall layer of the bud cell is continuous with that of the parent cell wall. Whereas in case of Basidiomycetes yeast, that is enterogenous, where bud wall is newly synthesized in Basidiomycetes. Here you can see this is the hologenous yeast where this bud wall is in continuation with the parental cell. This is the hologenous type of budding. Whereas in Basidiomycetes we can find enterogenous type of budding. These two terms are the very important, that is hologenous and enterogenous. And spores produced by budding are called blastospores. This is also very important. Blastospores is the meaning that bud spores. That means spores formed through budding are known as bud spores or blastospores. This is also very important in terms of examination point of view. And fission where this occurs means in the yeast Schizosaccharomyces. This is also very important, we have to remember. Coming to the conidia, conidia takes place in the higher fungi, and conidia are various shapes and sizes, and more often they are beautifully colored. And coming to the characteristics of the conidia, how they will appear and how they form the special structures in the Ascomycetes. These conidia are generally born on conidiophores, that is bearing the conidia, and they may be scattered in the mycelium, or they form in a special structures, that is conidiomata. That special structures are different types, that is pycnidium, acervuli and sporodokia. And these conidiophores, that is conidiophores means it will look like this, and conidia formed on top of this conidiophore. So conidiophore, maybe they are a simple, short and undifferentiated hyphae, that is they do not differentiated from the somatic hyphae, means they will look like similar to somatic hyphae only, so they are not differentiated. In another case, these are specialized structures with characteristic shapes and branching pattern. So these shapes and branching pattern of conidiophore, this is one of the diagnostic feature of this genera and species presented in the Ascomycetes. And sometimes they conidiophores aggregate and fuse up to varying lengths. This means if there are two conidiophores like this, and these conidiophores here they will aggregate, they form the special structures. Now let us see what are those special structures. Here you can see these special structures are cinnamata and corymia. Now we will see what is cinnamata. Cinnamata means here the conidiophores are joined at the base, means here they join at the base, and free above near the tip. Here they are free, so they are not joined at the top. So this is structure is known as cinnamata. Cinnamata means conidiophores are joined at the base and free above near the tip. This term we have to remember. And corymium. Corymium means the conidiophores are only loosely aggregated. Here we can see they are loosely aggregated, but they do not form film structure. Like here how they are attached very firmly. Here they are loosely associated. That's all. So we have to remember these two terms, that is cinnamata and corymium. And conidiomata, as I told that conidiophores, they may be undifferentiated looking like mycelium, or they form special structures like conidiomata, that is pycnidia, acervuli and sporodokia. Pycnidia means here you can see pycnidia, which is osteolate. Osteolate is the opening structure of this pycnidia. Here you can see this is osteolate, and spherical or flask shaped. This is the flask shaped, or they may be spherical in shape, and whose inner wall is lined with short conidiophores. And these are the conidiophores. This structure is known as pycnidium. Opening of pycnidium is called as osteole. This is very important point we have to remember. And coming to the second one, acervuli. Acervuli is a disc shaped flat stomatic mass of hyphae. This is here we can see the acervuli. These are disc shaped structures and formed beneath the cuticle or the epidermis of the plant. That is, if it is the plant epidermis, so they will form under this plant epidermis or cuticle structure, and where vertical short conidiophores arise, and these conidiophores are very short. Here you can see conidiophores are very short in nature and they form the conidia. These conidia are exposed when the overlying cuticle or epidermis is ruptured by pressure from within. So after formation of acervuli, that is lot of conidiophores bearing conidia, they will create some pressure on the epidermis. So thereby the epidermis rupture and these conidia will release into the atmosphere. And coming to the third, that is sporodokia. Sporodokia consists of cushion shaped stroma bearing conidia externally. Here sporodokia is a cushion like structure, but conidia are produced externally. These are produced externally, so they are not associated with this sporodokia. So this is just cushion like structure. These are the three different conidiomata, that is pycnidia, acervuli and sporodokia. Coming to the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction means plasmogamy and karyogamy, they are separated in space and time. I told already, after gametangial contact, there will be a dikaryotic phase. That means the cell having the two nuclei, it will remain some time. Later on, karyogamy will take place, followed by meiosis. Sexually compatible nuclei come to lie together during plasmogamy but do not fuse immediately. So that cell is known as dikaryon phase, and that cell is known as dikaryotic, and it gives rise to more pairs of such nuclei as if the cell in the hyphae, if one cell is having two nuclei, and it gives rise to more nuclei by successive conjugate divisions. So it will give rise to more dikaryons, and these dikaryons, if they are born in specialized hyphae, that called ascogenous hyphae, that is originating from female gametangium, that is ascogonium. These structures are already I explained in my previous videos. What is ascogonium, what is antheridium, all these structures I explained. Just to go and see those videos also. And this dikaryotic phase lies between haploid and diploid phase of life cycle. So diploid phase of life cycle is, haploid is the ascospores, and diploid phase life cycle is dikaryon. So this phase lies between these two phases, and dikaryotic phase terminates with the karyogamy, that is division of nuclei, which takes place in ascus mother cell, AMC. So when karyogamy takes place, automatically the nuclei will divide and form the uninucleate stage, and meiosis follows karyogamy. I already told, first initially plasmogamy will take place, followed by karyogamy, then meiosis. This meiosis, obviously it results in the haploid nuclei, and these haploid nuclei, that is 4 haploid nuclei form, these undergo mitosis to form 8 haploid nuclei. Here you can see this is the ascus mother cell, which is having 2 nuclei, and later they will undergo, here we can see meiosis, and it will give 4 haploid nuclei, and 4 haploid nuclei again it will go mitosis, it will give rise to 8 haploid nuclei. Ascus mother cell transforms into ascus containing 8 ascospores developed around the nuclei by free cell formation. So each nuclei is forms as ascospores through free cell formation, and in case of yeast, the zygote develops directly into ascus without this dikaryophase. Dikaryophase is absent in the yeast. And how the plasmogamy takes place in the ascomycetes means gametangial copulation, gametangial contact, spermatization, and somatogamy. These things I am not going to explain here, as I already covered about these types of plasmogamy in mode of sexual reproduction. I already covered in the previous video, so I am not going to cover in this video. So up to now what we covered is general characteristics of the ascomycetes, that is somatic structure and reproduction, that is asexual reproduction, how it takes place and what are the different ways, and sexual reproduction. In the next coming class, I will explain about the development of ascus and classification of ascomycetes and different genera and species involved in the ascomycetes. And thank you for your keen interest in this video, and remember to like and subscribe for more videos. I will be coming with more interesting video into the next class. I wish you a great success, health, prosperity and happiness. Thank you all.